All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It is 8 o'clock on the dot on a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. It's a little warm for my tastes, but here we are. Rise and shine. This is Coffee Talk. I'm West 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. Apologies for the signal. I'm in a rough area. At least my video and my audio may not be the best, but I'm running Coffee Talk through Wesh, so the signal itself should be great. The graphics should be great, but I'm using myself as a live shot. So if I look crummy, listen, you know I'm crummy looking anyway. We had Meet Santa this morning for the little guys, which is why I'm coming to you from the parking lot of school. And frankly, this is an area that just has terrible internet. So here we are. If we're leveraging bad internet, I'm doing the best I can. But I'll at least get to the graphics, and that should look as pretty as can be. What a nice morning it is. This looks like a summer's morning, though, doesn't it? It does not look like November. We're not quite to mid-November, but it definitely doesn't look like November. So there's that. Downtown Orlando, not looking too bad. Let's take you over to Tavares in Lake County, see how we're doing. Again, it's beautiful. Mainly clear skies here. Orlando International Airport. I know this particular tower cam is getting sunset shortly. Maybe it already has. Okay. Maybe it already has. I'll have to figure that out. All right, over to the beach. Let's go see what's doing. Oh, a little hazy, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit of sea spray, a little bit of lowered visibility, not too bad. And then last but not least, let's head over to Port Canaveral and just kind of see what's doing. Yeah, clouds over top, not a bad morning. It's okay. It's okay. All right, let's take a look at temperatures across Central Florida this morning. Rise and shine. 78 though. Are you kidding me? 78 degrees Daytona Beach. It's 78 degrees in Orlando, where it's 79 in Titusville, 76 in the Village. It is not a cool morning. And it's a beautiful morning, but there's no hint of chill. Not even close. First warning, live Doppler radar showing a few showers around. Let's take it full screen for you. And let's head over to Brevard. We definitely noticed on that tower cam a few additional clouds from the Brevard area. And this is why some of those showers sneaking in, even up into Volusia County, a few showers there. That even continues up to Flagler. Nothing bad, but yeah, there's definitely some moisture around. Satellite and radar showing bottom left corner, that's Hurricane Raphael, and certainly we'll be discussing it. I've got the loop on the bottom left corner, just to give you an idea, still a Category 2 storm. Shield of rain staying off the shoreline, but we've got clouds, we've got humidity, we've got the moisture. So yeah, it's not a perfect morning. Listen, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. All right, 12-hour forecast through the day today, showing that we do have the chance to see a passing shower today. That is no surprise here. 10-20% coverage of rain. Jan says this weather's pretty yucky. Yeah, it's not perfect. Sorry about that. But that breeze will feel nice at least. Temperatures today climbing to 86. Sorry about that. 86, absolutely not where we would like to be. It is what it is. Nicole says it's cloudy and rainy here in Lakeland. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about high temperatures today. And then from here, of course, we can dial up Futurecast and do all that fun stuff. Kind of see where we're at. 86 degrees, though. Can you believe that? 86 in Wedgefield, 87 today in Sanford, 84 our high temperature Daytona Beach, 84 in Palm Bay. It's going to be warm. Average high temperature this time of year, 80 degrees flat. So nowhere near where we should be. Trudy says, as long as it gets good Saturday for Universal Studios, we'll be all right. The weather is fine in comparison to some, for sure. William, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. So it's going to be a warm day in terms of Futurecasts. All right, let me dial this up. Where are you? All right, here we are. So here's Futurecast for today. It's doing a fantastic, and may I add, did a pretty good job yesterday. A couple of passing showers this morning, kind of drying out a little bit for lunchtime, keeping some clouds around through the afternoon. Yeah, through tonight, not really too bad. really a pretty nice forecast. Not a bad one. Rain chances next couple of days certainly will be with us, a sprinkle or two. But as Raphael pulls away, and certainly we're going to talk a lot about Raphael, but as Raphael kind of turns a little earlier than we had first thought, it's going to keep our rain chances down just a little bit lower than first thought. So there's at least something there, okay? This is a forecast that's heavily dependent on a super squirrely bird of a system. So because of that, the overall forecast for us is at least a little squirrely, right? Yeah. So understand that our dew point is super soupy spot. Let me show you kind of the way that we do things, okay? Gotta use my brain to try and calculate this. All right. So we use the muggimeter to try and take the dew point and oversimplify it. And no, it's not that we think that you're dumb. By every sense of the term, we do not think that. But essentially, what does a dew point correlate to? Relative humidity is just that. It's relative. So we use the dew point, which is a direct measurement of moisture in the atmosphere, right? And we're sitting with dew point temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, which is our summer readings. Okay, so to that point, we're steamy. You know that. You feel the first day of school outside. Which, like, by the way, it's kind of funny to me as I'm sitting here and I'm doing like the car rider thing. I'm in the parking lot of the elementary school, and like all these people have to think like, who's that numbskull sitting in his car talking to himself? So anyway, there's that. But at any rate, it's steamy. Dew point temperatures are in the 70s, so it's not ideal this morning. What we need, what we need is a cold front, and at the very least, and I'll pop up the raw. Hold on, that's GFS. I'm going to switch this over to the temperatures though. What we need is a cold front. So mediagrams, we've got Orlando International Airport selected. Let's look at the raw GFS, and at least for short term, we don't exactly have a cold front. Dates are running along the bottom of the screen. Temperatures kind of on the top. We are coming in. Morning lows will get back into the 60s. Okay, looking at next week and then next weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 15th, 16th, and 17th. If you've watched Coffee Talk for the last few weeks, you know we've been discussing a little bit of a cold front, not a major one, but if we could sneak highs into the upper range of the 70s, I mean, I would take that. I would take that. So hopefully we can get there. That would be nice. Cindy says we need a cold front. We need a cold front. Yeah. Don't have one necessarily listed here. So, all right. So we're muggy. This pattern, at least for the next couple of days, is going to kind of hold. Let's take a look at the 7 days. So what you're looking at is raw GFS numbers, and it at least gives some subtle hope kind of down the line. But looking at our 7-day forecast, and I'll move the little Raphael box for a moment, you see that through mid next week, there is no cold front. But late next week, we know from looking at the GFS, there's at least some subtle hope of a cold front. So there's something, maybe there's something. Vanessa says we're having perfect weather now. And to that point, yeah, there you go. To some people, it is perfect weather. I don't have a problem with this weather. I am at the mindset where I'm at the time of year where I would love to start talking about some cooler weather. Average high temperatures 80 degrees. So I would love that. But here we are. Okay. All right. Let's talk before anything else. Are we good with our local forecast? Any other questions about our 7-day forecast? And then we can go and we can start talking about the tropics. Questions about our local forecast? Questions about our local forecast? Questions about our local forecast? Beverly says, my grandkids are getting here Friday. How will next week look? Nice and warm. Next week is almost looking identical to where we are right now. David's asking, shall we break out the bring on the cold front dance? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. By the way, is my audio okay? I know that my video is probably a little fuzzy from my computer here because I'm in a terrible cell phone area. But is the audio okay? Like, can you hear me at least okay? I have no idea. I'm trying. Am I doing all right? Hopefully, hopefully, hopefully. All right. Beverly says great news. Yeah, it's not a bad forecast. Okay. Okay. You're lagging a bit. Like mix minus is off a bit. Yeah, that would be expected. Yeah, audio is HD, video is potato. That makes sense. That makes sense. Just a really really bad signal there. Yeah. So it is what it is. All right, let's talk about the tropics and see what's doing here. Okay, there's Hurricane Raphael. Made it up to major hurricane intensity yesterday. Made landfall down to a Cat 2, and you can kind of see that shield of rain staying, thankfully, off the shoreline of southwest Florida. The worst of the squalls will stay away from us. Maximum sustained winds right now at 105 miles an hour. And the forecast from this thing is about as squirrely bird as a squirrely bird could be, right? Here's the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Kind of due west, and then the Hurricane Center's official forecast is kind of going more southwest and basically fade quickly, get absorbed by a front, that sort of thing. So that's the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center as it stands right now. With a front kind of approaching this thing, the question of what ends up happening is definitely going to, down the line, difficult. But notice we're looking at a week, right? So you're Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. So essentially, this thing really is just going to sit out in the Gulf of Mexico. Computer forecast plots, I don't want to say they're a little all over the place, but they're a little all over the place. You can't read too much into this because at some point a front's going to pick it up. It's going to be super weak, and from there you just kind of have to understand that these weaker fronts, these weaker systems, it's really difficult to tell. So what we can do is we can look at the computer forecast models, at least get an idea of what's to come, right? This is the raw GFS plot, okay? And there it goes. Top right corner of your screen is the timestamp. So valid 12Z Friday, November 8th. So that is valid 7 a.m. Friday morning, okay? Still out in the Gulf. All right, we'll roll through more time. And essentially into this weekend, you'll notice it's still sitting there. It's still doing its thing. Still not moving. Still doing its thing. Super, super sluggish. That is not going to change, right? Into Sunday, Monday, the GFS at least kind of has this little bit of a hard right turn and then meandering and then meandering. Look at that. That's all the way through Wednesday of next week, for goodness sake. Breaking away, another storm, right? Like so. There's a little front moving through our area, pushing it through, but it's not like at least the GFS does not exactly have landfall with this, right? It's going to be meandering around the Gulf of Mexico for like a week plus. So that's one way to look at it. All right. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's switch around. Let's look at the European plot. Hanging out in the Gulf. Another area of low pressure developing, perhaps around Hispaniola. European, like Rio Grande Valley there. That's as far as the 6C goes. You know what? We can actually go over to the control to extrapolate further. Another low into the Gulf. Yeah. And then that develops and moves out. So, big cold front sneaking in. So a lot of the models, frankly, are not even taking this thing ashore, which is fine by me. I don't think that any of us are going to have a problem with a system that basically just peters out of Mexico. It's kind of an interesting. You don't see this set up very often, because you don't typically have a storm entering from this trajectory, from this location into the Gulf of Mexico. But remember, this is not the peak of hurricane season like it was months ago, right? So when we look at the Gulf of Mexico's kind of dynamics, you've got a cold front, you've got cooler water temperatures, you've got all kinds of things working against it, right? So wind shear from that front. We've talked about this for days, right? The drier air, and then of course the cooler water temperature. So you've kind of got all these ingredients working against this storm system from coming toward us. And I feel like we've talked about this for a week to 2 weeks time, right? So fine by me. Don't want that coming and bothering us. Elsewhere in the tropics, it's at least important to note that there is one other area to monitor. Okay, it's that secondary area that the European was kind of hinting at, has a low chance of formation, 20% or so over the next 7 days' time. Essentially, the Euro is trying to do something with it. The GFS, not so much. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything, anything, anything? Anything at all? All right. Cold front. I know it's snow. Yeah. Cold front, not, we don't have a cold front like knocking on our doorstep here, but there are fronts and they are moving around. So, yeah. All right. Seems like 3 to 4 weeks this one has been talked about. It was supposed to be Nadine. It was not supposed to be Nadine. Some hypers called it Nadine, but yeah. Also, the system that the hypers talked about being Nadine ended up being Oscar weeks later, right? Or a week later, something to that effect. Yeah. So, all right. All right. That's all I've got. In the meantime, we've got highs in the mid 80s, a few showers, all in all. All right. Trudy, does it look like we'll have a busy hurricane season next year? I'm working on my long range forecast. It is not done yet. Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I'm going to go get ready for work, do the thing.